Hello, I'm Bob Abarno. I'm the chaplain at the Lutheran home at Johnstown. I'd like to share with you how we touch lives here at ALSM. I'd like to share a story with you. Clark was truly a private person. He wasn't talkative and not very engaged with the other residents at the Allegheny Lutheran Social Ministries campus at the Oaks at Pleasant Gap. He lived alone in the first ALSM cottage. No one ever saw visitors going to the cottage. He was seemingly uninterested in getting to know anyone or letting anyone get to know him. He didn't participate in any of the campus-wide activities or events, and he seemed to like it that way. He liked it that way for 12 years. Then one day, he said to Nicole, she's the administrator at the Oaks at Pleasant Gap. He said to her, "I think I need you." And she said, "What can I do to help you, Clark?" "Well, my dear, it's like this. I'm dying." Nicole was startled by his revelation, and it took her a few moments to respond. And then she said, "I'm here to serve you, Clark. Tell me, what do you need?" And so it began. Over the next 2 weeks, there was a team effort to get Clark moved from his cottage to a personal care room. He had no family to help. And so now, with the help of the staff and with the help of charitable care, they were able to move him to a room. As Clark settled into his new living situation, the weeks passed and his health rapidly declined. The progress of his brain cancer was really heartbreaking to watch, but Clark seemed to accept it with grace and with ease, or at least that's what his caregivers thought. In a wheelchair now, and with the assistance of a staff person, he went to see Nicole again, the administrator. And he said, "Miss Nicole, I need your help," he said. "How can I help you?" "I want to learn more about Jesus Christ." He continued, "Well, Miss Nicole, I'm an atheist. I never gave Christianity much thought. I don't know who he is or what he's about. I wish to know more about this Jesus fellow." Sensing that his time was short, Nicole knew that she was on a mission and that Clark was on a mission. She knew that Clark had developed a special connection with Joan, one of his caregivers at ALSM. And Joan was a devout Christian. So Nicole told Joan about her conversation with Clark. Joan thought about it, and then she said, "Well, why don't we start with the Bible?" So Joan read to the scriptures to Clark. He asked questions and listened attentively to Joan's answers. She read to him when he was awake and even while he was asleep. Clark was much more at peace now, much more at ease. A week after their last conversation, Nicole visited Clark. He was weak and he was tired. She rested her hand on his and he opened his eyes. He smiled at her and he said, "Miss Nicole, my dear?" Nicole's eyes filled with tears. And she said, "Hey, Clark, I wanted to stop in and see how you were doing, how you were feeling." Clark took a deep breath and said, "Guess what?" Then he spoke softly to her. "I'm a Christian, and I know Jesus Christ, and I think he knows me too." That night, when Clark fell asleep, he was never to speak again. He passed away peacefully 3 days later, knowing that he was loved by those who cared for him at ALSM, and totally loved by God who created him, and by Jesus Christ who saved him, and loves him now and forever. Clark is just one of the persons whose lives we have touched and are touching here at Allegheny Lutheran Social Ministries.